I spent 2 days on the ground at Legal Tech Talk speaking to the people shaping the future of law. And what I heard, surprising, honest, game-changing. Over the next few weeks, I'll be sharing the big insights, bold ideas, and behind-the-scenes realities that every legal professional needs to hear. In this episode, I'm talking with Merlin Beyts, Content Director at Legal Tech Talk, London. So we're here at Legal Tech Talk with Merlin, who is Content Director. Merlin, I've actually been, you don't know this, but wanting to speak to you for like 2 days now because I want to get the inside scoop on how it's going.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, there's a few bits which are a bit touch and go, and obviously it's like we always say with events, it's a bit like a Ferrari, but you look under the hood, you got the engine of a Toyota just gunning it. So behind the scenes, sometimes it's a little bit hectic, but yeah, everything going in the right direction. A lot of things to go in those directions. I think what's been amazing to see is just similar to last year, just so much excitement, which we don't create that, but I like to think that we do harness it. And we've got people from all over the world here, who are, they've traveled far and wide to come and just learn and move the industry forward. So yeah, it's super exciting. Yes, a little bit tiring, and my feet do hurt, but yeah, I can't ask for any more. Really, just really excited that everyone's enjoying themselves.
Last year was amazing, but this year is even better. How have you actually done it? Like, how have you upped your game?
Well, I think the really key thing is how do you make sure that it's an experience that people are going to enjoy and learn from? I think if you focus too much on one and forget about the other, you can still create a great experience. But let's say someone who's based in, I don't know, Germany. You got, a general counsel based in Germany, and they have used company budget to justify an expense, or they've used it to fly over and get the accommodation. Maybe they're in this hotel or whatever. If their session doesn't happen for whatever reason, you get a speaker dropout or something like that, they might have used that session to justify their expenses. So we have to make sure that those happen, they take place, that they're going to be valuable. But also, we have to kind of keep up in the tempo with entertainment and things like that. It's not just a marketing ploy. Loads of people, when we started out, they said, you won't do this, not at that scale. And it's because lawyers like, canapes and bubbles and black tie. That's what they like. And that's what a lot of the market is. And I'm not knocking that at all. But we sort of, perhaps childishly and belligerently, when people like a lot of stuff. There's beer and wine, and there's great food and coffee, and it's all free.
Yeah.
And if you're not in a session, there's still things to do. What we want to create is an all-inclusive experience. And this year, what that meant is we still on that first floor, obviously, big, loud, bright lights, hustle, bustle, all of that good stuff. The ground floor, which is what I'm probably most proud of, for everyone at Legal Tech Talk for pulling off, little bit calmer. People feel like they can kind of escape a little bit. A few more activations, a bit of food. It's about making sure that anyone can enjoy it, and being everything to all people at all times is usually usually a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
But I think you just tap into what people enjoy and what people want to learn, and hopefully the rest follows.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've added every little detail that you've thought about, literally everything. You've got like a restroom, you've got cue cards with Legal Tech Talk on the back, which you didn't have last year because I remember bringing my own cue cards for my pack. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. You've got the cue cards. It's like you've literally thought of everything. It's incredible. Love it.
Well, do you know what? So on the cue cards, it's just another thing. We're a pretty lean team. We were even leaner last year. We did have cue cards. They just, they were in it. They got snapped up, and then no one thought to just put them out again. And I mean, part of it, like, I'm not going to say it's not easy, but there are some simple aspects to it. Part like the sort of rest and relaxation room, the chill and charge lounge. That's because people just told us they wanted it.
Right.
So if you just listen to people,
Right.
and you set aside budget for it, obviously it means that luckily we've got an amazing sales team and marketing team who are able to make sure that we still have the funding and still pay our salaries and everything. But it means that we can do all these things. Like, listening is key. We've had again this year Julian Treasure's keynote on like how listening is the forgotten skill, and then he ran a workshop on basically how to speak so that people will listen. It's fundamental to take that feedback And it's why I ask of everyone is, if you're a speaker, you're a sponsor, a fundamental part of our relationship, I think, is just honest feedback. Don't tell me it's great and everything's 100% perfect all the time. If it is, fantastic. There's always things that we can make better.
Yeah.
And it's then up to us to take that feedback away and go, okay, well, if we can't do exactly that, how do we create that experience, but maybe just, with different building blocks?
Yeah. It's such a good point, actually, listening to people's feedback, because it's so simple, but I think a lot of people don't actually think about that. They just think, okay, what do we want? What do we think people want? But like, you've actually gone ahead and listened to people and just done what they've literally said they want, which is so
Yeah.
novel.
I mean, it was a bit of a glib way that I kind of I did that. Because there's some things that we know we'll never do. We know that we want to make sure that the in-house and the private practice and the vendors are all in there together, the investors, like everyone is in here together. What we want is to create more dialogue. And so part of it, if someone said, so we have had some people say to us, like, you have to split up the in-house and private practice. You cannot have the in-house and private practice. And we're just like, well, actually, we think it's fundamentally important to have people there talking to each other. I always say, I sit on about 50 prep calls a year for this event. And what I always say, you've heard me just go like, oh no, if you could disagree, that would be fantastic. I'd love to see you not say the same thing. And I get it with those corporate comms teams and everything, there's only so much that you can say. But when we can get disagreement, when we can create dialogue, that's awesome. There's one session that I was really, really happy with about mastering business development for law firms. And Richard Macklin, who's been with us since the start, honestly, such a great friend of the event. He obviously used to be very senior at a law firm at Denton's, and then he's founded GC so that they can have, they're obviously good mates.
Yeah,
they can have a kind of a bit of a fiery conversation.
Yeah.
The prep call with them, I said, I want at least one and another thing, and then Joanna, who moderated that, did a fantastic job. Sometimes we want to see it get a little bit fiery. It's not about being friends with everyone all the time.
Yeah.
And, if we have a little bit of a disagreement, and not just disagreement between tech vendors who are fighting for the same same piece of the pie, which I'm not denigrating, like it's how we make our money. I think it's super, super important to just get everyone talking in the same room. So part of it is listening, but we do have some principles that we are just going to stick by. You got to be open to things. I don't think we'll ever be truly set in our ways about absolutely everything. I mean, listening and applying the feedback, it's always something that we're going to do.
Yeah, amazing. I think the best thing for me about Legal Tech Talk is the fact that it's not like your average corporate or even legal event. It's different. It's out of the box. It's exciting. And I think you guys have done an absolutely fantastic job. And I do appreciate you doing this podcast with me, because I know you're super busy and your brain is like slowly like stopping working.
It's not even close to 0% efficient right now. It's at this point, my brain is working against me. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. Loved your session with William Peake. If no one saw it, it was called I Murdered My Dog for Likes, which is a which is a title that we workshopped together. It was about, the do's and don'ts of LinkedIn and, social media engagement and things like that. So it's such a pleasure to work with you, and thanks so much for being along the ride.
Oh, thank you, Merlin. If you're a legal tech founder still trying to grow your brand, the reality is this: someone with half your expertise is about to out-position you. And when they do, you don't just lose reach, you lose deals, investors, opportunities, and more. I'm opening exclusive free access to a blueprint I've never shared publicly. If you want to become law firm's go-to legal tech solution, you'll need to become the leading authority. I explain exactly how in my blueprint. Go to the description of this episode to get it sent straight to your inbox now.